Make sure these work. We are live. All right, guys, welcome in the 4th and 25 with J Ram. Hope you guys having a good day. Hope you're having a good week. Hope you all had a wonderful, happy New Year. Our first show of 2026. Hope everybody's doing well. Good God, I love college football. Don't y'all just love the craziness that comes with this damn sport? I just seen what Brendan Sorsby's deal with Texas Tech is at $5 million. Holy crap. Sport's crazy. Man's got 1 year eligibility. He's getting paid $5 million to play at Texas Tech. Guess that money talks. All right, guys, we got a loaded show today. We got a lot to catch up on. We got the transfer portal is exploding. Bowl season is all but behind us, with the exception of the semifinals. Um, and what a semifinals we got to talk about! It is crazy. So let's get this sap sucker rolling, and let's go. If I can get my stuff to work here. All right. Oh, crap. All right. Hang on. I've got an audio. You got to be kidding me. All right. Let's try it now. Oh, man. Damn it. All right. Guys, we'll be right back. You know what? All right. So let's get rolling with our weekend review. We're going to start with everything that happened during bowl season. So, of course, now I can't see nothing. Sorry, guys, we're having a little bit of trouble here with our screen. All right, guys, welcome in. All right, so we're going to get going here. Let's start breaking down what happened over the weekend in the bowl games. So, a week from today, this past week on Monday, the 29th, the Birmingham Bowl, we had Georgia Southern beat Appalachia State 29-10. Quarterback J.C. French throws for 171 and a touchdown. Running back O.J. Arnold goes for 152. Dorian Smith had 3 tackles, a couple of interceptions that were big for the Eagles in this football game. Georgia Southern's defense played really well. 4 turnovers forced, held App State to 3 of 10 on third down. Georgia Southern with 242 on the ground. App State had 6 penalties. Georgia Southern had 4. App State, though, my hat's off to them. They agreed to play this game when they didn't have to. They were 5-7, so they kind of filled in because, as you know, a couple of teams with above 500 records declined bowl invites. We won't get into that anymore. But yeah, shout out to Georgia Southern. They win the Birmingham Bowl. All right, so sorry about that. Oh man, you got to be freaking kidding me. Hang on, guys, we're having some audio trouble. Hold on. All right, guys, we're back. I apologize for those problems. Let's keep going, shall we? All right, so the Independence Bowl, we are back. Apologies for that. Louisiana Tech beat Coastal Carolina 23-14. Congrats to the Bulldogs. They came back. They were trailing in this game at one point. Trey Cook, their quarterback, goes for 114 and a score, while rushing for 121 and another score. He had a really good ball game. Saifa Laoda at linebacker, great job on the Bulldogs defense. He has 10 total tackles, 9 solos, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss. Huge game for him. Even their punter, John Hoyt Chance, 49.5 yard average, two inside the 20, long of 56. His leg was actually crucial in the field position game here for Louisiana Tech. Um, Coastal 14 penalties, Louisiana Tech 11, so very sloppy game. Rushing yards, La Tech outrushed them 181-45. A lot of turnovers in this game. Coastal turned it over 3 times. La Tech actually turned it over 4 too. So Louisiana Tech though is your champions of the Independence Bowl. All right. How about this one in Nashville? Illinois beats Tennessee in the Music City Bowl. Final score 30-28. Luke Altmaier, his final game with Illinois at quarterback. He is headed to the NFL draft. He throws from 196 and a touchdown, runs for 54 and another touchdown. On the D line, James Thompson, 7 total tackles, 2 solos. Illinois' defense got 4 sacks and 1 big turnover that helped be the difference here. Illinois just outgained Tennessee 417 to 278. Outrushed them 221 to 157. Time of possession, Illinois did a great job holding on to the football here. They had the ball for 35 minutes and 46 seconds. Tennessee had the ball for 24 minutes and 14 seconds. Big win here for the Big Ten, too, as they get some bragging rights over the SEC in the bowl season. Shout out to Illinois, your Music City Bowl champions. All right, and then the final game of the night. This was a fun one. In the Alamo Bowl, TCU 30, USC 27 in overtime. Wasn't sure how this game was going to go. TCU was down their quarterback. USC had numerous opt-outs and guys hitting the portal. They were very thin in a lot of positions. Ken Seals, though, comes in. First game was TCU's quarterback. 258 yards, touchdown pass, rushing touchdown. Jeremy Payne at running back, 73 yards, a touchdown. Safety Jamel Johnson, 7 total tackles, 6 solos. He had a big pick for the Frogs in this game. Third downs, TCU 8 of 15, USC only 5 of 12. Trojans led every stat except for the final score. And then TCU wins it in overtime. This was a fun football game. Congratulations, though, to the TCU Horned Frogs on winning the Alamo Bowl. All right, New Year's Eve. Let me take a swig of water. Oh, that's good. All right, New Year's Eve. ReliaQuest Bowl, Iowa 34, Vanderbilt 27. This was a good game. Iowa looked like they were going to run Vandy out of Tampa at first, but Vandy roared back and made this game very interesting. Mark Gronkowski throws for 212 and 2 touchdowns, runs for 54 and another touchdown for the Hawkeyes. Kamir Moulton, 95 yards rushing, a touchdown. How about their tight end, DJ Vonaham? 7 catches for 146 and a touchdown. Rushing yards, Iowa outrushed Vandy in this game, 167 to 51. Linebacker Carson Shaw, 5 total tackles, 3 solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. He shows out for the Hawkeyes. Iowa got 5 sacks. Third downs, they were 6 out of 12. Vandy was 2 of 9. But Iowa gets it done. Iowa always comes amped up, it seems like, for their bowl game. But shout out to Vandy for making it interesting. But Iowa gets it done 34-27 in the ReliaQuest Bowl. All right. How about this Sun Bowl? This was a good one, too. Duke 42, Arizona State 39. The ACC champions, yes, you heard that right. The ACC champions were in the Sun Bowl. But Darren Minshew, the talented Duke quarterback, he'll be back next year, throws for 327 and 4 touchdown passes. Nate Shepard, their talented running back, 22 carries for 170 yards, a touchdown, 7.7 a carry. Receiver Keyshawn Brown, 10 catches, 178, 2 touchdowns. Linebacker Luke Mintz, 10 total tackles, 7 solos, had a pick. Duke forced 3 turnovers on defense. There was literally a lot of yards. 619 to 539, Arizona State. Hey, Mama. Thanks, Mom. Thank you, Mama. In-law. Arizona State outgains them 619 to 539. Sun Devils had more yards, but did not win the game where it mattered most. But anyway, your champions of the Sun Bowl, the the Duke Blue Devils. Okay, moving on. Let's do what happened in Orlando at the Citrus Bowl. Texas 41, Michigan 27. Arch Manning 221, 2 touchdown passes, runs for 155 and 2 scores. This young man put on a show for the Longhorns. Their running back, Christian Clark, 105 yards and a touchdown. Linebacker Anthony Smith, 9 total tackles, 8 solos. He had 2 interceptions in this football game and a tackle for loss. The Texas defense, 3 sacks, 3 turnovers forced. Texas outgained Michigan 456 to 373. Outrushed them 235 to 179. 21 combined penalties. Texas 12, Michigan 7. So very chippy game, it seemed like, especially in the second half. But Texas gets it done 41 to 27. Congrats to the Longhorns. All right, flipping over to Las Vegas, the Las Vegas Bowl. Utah 44, Nebraska 22. Utah first game without Kyle Whittingham, as he's of course gone to Michigan. Their Morgan Scalley first game as the head coach. He is the permanent head coach. Devin Dampier 310 yards, 2 touchdowns, runs for 148 and 3 more scores, totaling 458 yards, 5 touchdowns. He puts on a clinic for Utah. Tight end Nellen Bentley, 106 yards and a touchdown. Utah 535 to 343 total yards advantage, 225 to 161 rush advantage, 310 182 pass advantage. Utah also 2 of 3 on 4th downs. But Utah gets it done. Final score 44-22. They are the champions of the Las Vegas Bowl. All right, so let's move on to the quarterfinals, and let's talk about what happened New Year's Eve night in Dallas at the Cotton Bowl. Miami 24, Ohio State 14. I should have seen this coming. I don't know why. I guess I was just so caught up in the Ohio State talent. Miami's front 7 is nasty. This defense, holy crap. They get it done 24-14 over the Buckeyes. Carson Beck just 138 in a score. Mark Fletcher 90 yards rushing. Miami 153 as a team rushing. Akeem Mizador 5 tackles, 5 solos. He had 2 sacks in this game. Miami's defense 5 sacks, 2 turnovers forced, a pick 6. Held Ohio State to 3 of 10 on 3rd down, only 45 yards rushing. Miami had no penalties in this game. 0. Ohio State only had 2. Very clean game for the most part. But Miami is so good. I overlooked them, I'm going to be honest. I was a fool, and they proved me wrong in this football game. But Miami gets it done 24-14. Hurricanes advance to the semifinals. They'll play Ole Miss Thursday night. All right. New Year's Day, Orange Bowl. This was a thud. Oregon 23, Texas Tech nothing. This was a shutout. The Ducks defense. Star of this game, Oregon's defense obviously was the star. Dante Moore goes for 234, throws a pick. Brandon Finley Jr., 6 total tackles, 4 sacks by this young man, 2 interceptions. Linebacker Tatum, I can't say that name, 6 total tackles, 2 sacks. Dylan Thiemann had 12 tackles. Oregon outgained them just 309 to 215, but Texas Tech was one of the best offenses in the country, and you held them to 215 yards. That's incredible. And no points. Oregon's defense had 4 sacks, 4 turnovers forced. Just give the game ball to Oregon's defense. They were the MVP of this one. So shout out to Oregon. They get it done 23 to nothing. They advance to the semifinals, where they will play in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl on Friday night. Who will they play, you might ask? This group, the Indiana Hoosiers, 38 to 3 over Alabama. It's incredible that we are in an era now where Indiana's throttling Alabama. That is crazy. Hell of a game for Indiana, though. 38 to 3 in the Rose Bowl. Fernando Mendoza throws for 192, 3 touchdowns. Their running back, Kalen Black, had a score. Bacon at DB, 7 total tackles, a sack, 3 tackles for loss. Aiden Fisher at linebacker, he had 7 total tackles, a sack, tackle for loss. 3rd downs, Indiana 9 of 14, Alabama 3 of 11. Indiana's defense held Alabama to 193 total yards. That is crazy. They outgained them 407 to 193. Indiana had 3 sacks, rushing yards 215 to 23 in favor of the Hoosiers. Unbelievable. The story of Indiana football's rise is just incredible. Kurt Signetti, my hat's off to that man. He's built a great staff. They've worked the portal so good in this NIL portal era. and it's incredible just to see how good this program is. I don't see a flaw in this football team. Indiana is just, they're perfect. They look like they're perfect in every facet of the game. But Indiana gets it done, 38-3. They will play Oregon in the Peach Bowl on Friday night in the semifinals. All right, final game of New Year's, the best game of the quarterfinals in the All-State Sugar Bowl. Ole Miss 39, Georgia 34. I am a Rebel fan, so I'm a little biased here, but super proud of this football team. They were down 21-12, and the wheels could have fell off, but they didn't panic, and they fought their tails off and got back into this thing. Trinidad Chambliss, 362 yards, 2 touchdown passes. He has a heck of a ball game. Keywan Lacey runs for 98, 2 scores. How about Harrison Wallace, 156 yards receiving? He caught a touchdown. Dejon Stribling had 122 receiving. Centurion Perkins, 6 total tackles, 3 solos, a sack, 2 tackles for loss, a fumble recovery. He had a huge game on defense for the Rebels. Ole Miss outgained Georgia 473-343. Great momentum swings. Like I say, when Lacey fumbled the ball and Georgia ran it back for a touchdown, Ole Miss could have folded, but they didn't. They fought and they got back in this thing. Crazy ending. What a game. This was the best game of the quarterfinals by far. So, I'm not going to pick these games just yet, but here's your semifinals. Thursday night, your Fiesta Bowl, you've got Ole Miss and Miami. And then Friday night, you've got Indiana and Oregon in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. So, oh crap, I did not mean to delete that. That's my fault. All right, let's move on, shall we? We got a couple more games we're going to do. All right, so January 2nd bowl games. We had Texas State against Rice in the Armed Forces Bowl. This game was ugly. Texas State 41-10. Shout out to Rice for playing in the game at 5-7. At least somebody was willing to do it. Brad Jackson, the Texas State quarterback, goes for 173, 3 touchdowns, 52 rushing, and another touchdown. Lincoln Parrott, running back, 106 and a touchdown. Chris Dawn Jr. caught 2 scores. Texas State's defense was absolutely incredible. 436-195 in total yards, 3 sacks, 3 turnovers forced by the Bobcats defense. They were phenomenal. Rush yards 241-101. So the Bobcats win the Armed Forces Bowl. Just up the road from me here at the Liberty Bowl, it was Navy and Cincinnati. This game, Navy wins at 35-13. Cincinnati played with a very depleted roster. They had I think 18 to 20 players not even in the game, opt-outs, portal entries, stuff like that. But shout out to Navy, 11-win season. Blake Herfath goes for 108, 2 scores, runs for 53 and another score. Coleman Colley at linebacker, 10 total tackles, 7 solos. He had a big interception. Jacob Carlson had a good game punting the ball, 44.2-yard average, long of 53, 2 inside the 20. Third downs, Navy 9 of 15, Cincinnati 4 of 13. Total yards 349-239. But like I say, Cincinnati was playing this game with a depleted roster. But happy for Navy though, 11-win season for the midshipmen as they take home the Liberty Bowl. All right, 2 more games. San Diego, of course, hosting the annual Holiday Bowl. This actually got to be a good game toward the end. SMU 24, Arizona 19. It was 24-0 SMU at one point. Kevin Jennings throws for 278. Tamir Knight, 104 yards receiving. Amon Moses had a good game, 17 total tackles, 10 solos. Both teams had 6 penalties each. But like I say, Arizona made a run in the second half, and this was not a bad game. But congrats to Rhett Lashley's crew. They are the champions of the Holiday Bowl. All right, let's move on and do our final non-CFP bowl game, the Duke's Meal Bowl. Wake Forest 43, Mississippi State 29. The Deacons, this is their 4th 9-win season in their 130-plus year history of football. Shout out to Wake, though. Congrats. Robbie Ashford, the quarterback, 303, 2 touchdown passes, 50 yards rushing, 2 scores. He had 4 total touchdowns. DB Nick Anderson, 12 total tackles, 6 solos, a sack. Wake's defense had 5 sacks total. Cordell Batley had a 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown that was huge in this game for the Deacons. Third downs, Wake 9 of 15, Mississippi State 3 out of 14. 451-408 in the total yards game. But Wake Forest gets the win 43-29. They are the champions of the Duke's Mayo Bowl. All right, real quick before we continue, there's people out there who say the bowls don't matter. And that's fine. If you don't want to watch them, you're not being forced to. There's too many of them. Well, you're not being forced to watch them. But take a look at these ratings for some of these earlier bowl games. This is very impressive. The Military Bowl, 2.5 million, their best since 2018. You look at the Hawaii Bowl, 2.7 million, best since 2013. First Responder Bowl, 3.1 million, the best on record. That was UTSA and FIU, folks. LA Bowl, 3.8 million, best on record. Rape Bowl, 4.4 million, best since 2011. That was New Mexico and Minnesota. Gator Bowl, 6 million, best since 2009. The Pinstripe Bowl, 7.6 million, best on record. I know it was Clemson and Penn State, but come on. Pop-Tarts Bowl, 8.7 million, best since 91. That is the top CFP New Year's Six Bowl since 2019-2020 Citrus Bowl. Pop-Tarts Bowl is doing really good. But anyway, my point in all this is, you could crap on them all you want, but people are still watching these games. There's still some good football in there. There can be some bad football, but people are still watching them. They matter. All right, one more game I want to talk about. Last night, the D3 National Championship game. I hate I didn't get to pick this game on here, but we didn't get to do our show Saturday because we had some other stuff going on. But last night, your D3 National Championship, congratulations to the University of Wisconsin River Falls. They take down the powerhouse North Central 24-14. This was a really, really good football game. Hang on just a second. I don't know why I lost my stat sheet. Let me pull it up here real quick. They win the game 24-14. Let me find it. I just had my stats up here. I don't know where it went. Oh, there they are. Okay. Let me pull it up here real quick for you. All right, so Wisconsin River Falls wins at 24-14. They are the D3 national champs, first championship in school history. I think this was their first playoff appearance since the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. Their quarterback, Blaha, runs for 128, 2 touchdowns, passes for 291, and another score. He totaled 400 and, I believe, 19 yards of offense, 3 touchdowns. He put on a clinic. Great job by this program. Congratulations, first title in school history. Let's see. Did I have it right here? I thought I had team stats right here. I apologize. Oh, here we go. All right. Third downs, 7-12 for North Central, 3-10 for White Falls, but neither team converted a fourth down. Total yards, 436 to 363 in the favor of River Falls. River Falls got 2 interceptions and a fumble on defense, 3 sacks, 5 tackles for loss. Great game by the Falcons. So, shout out to your 2026 NCAA D3 football national champions, the Wisconsin River Falls Falcons. All right, we're going to take our first break real quick, and we come back. We're going to preview and predict tonight's FCS National Championship between Illinois State and Montana State. See y'all in a minute. All right, guys, welcome back to 4th and 25. So that's a wrap on everything that's happened so far. We're up to date on that. Let's take a look at tonight. We've got the 2026 FCS National Championship game from Nashville, Tennessee at the Vanderbilt Commodore Stadium. Love Nashville, great city. Here is your matchup. We've got the Illinois State Redbirds out of the Missouri Valley Conference against the powerhouse Montana State Bobcats of the Big Sky Conference. Here's the tail of the tape. Scoring offense. Montana State scoring 38 a game. Illinois State at 30.6, roughly 31 points per game. Their defense, Illinois State's allowing 25 a game, Montana State about 18. Look at the rushing offense. Illinois State 170 a game, Montana State 234 and a half. The rushing defense, both Montana State pretty solid, 1.16.7 allowed. Illinois State's allowing about 132 a game. Yards per carry offensively, 5.8 for the Bobcats, 4.6 for the Redbirds. Their rushing defenses are allowing 3.8 and 3.9 yards per carry. Montana State's 3.8. You look at the passing attacks, Illinois State a little better, 214.8 a game. Montana State 202.6, but with the way they run the ball, I get it. Pass defense, Montana State 203 a game, 243 per game for Illinois State. You look at the total offenses, Bobcats at 437 yards per game, Illinois State at 385. Okay. Total defense, Montana State's giving up about 319 a game, Illinois State's giving up roughly 375. Penalty yards per game, Montana State 46.1, Illinois State 38.2, a little more discipline. Both are under 50% on third downs. Fourth down conversions, both are pretty solid. Illinois State 63%. Montana State perfect 75% on fourth downs. Third down defense, both are holding opponents under 40%. That's good. Fourth down defense, 50% for Illinois State, 52.7 for Montana State. Both like to sack the quarterback. Illinois State has 34 sacks. Montana State has 32. Red zone offense, Montana State 60 out of 66 in the red zone. Defense 38 of 47. And then on the percentage for Illinois State, they're scoring 85% of the red zone. Defense is giving up 86%. Okay, so current line for this football game is, as of this morning, I think it was 10, but let me check. I think the line was still Montana State by 10, but let me check real quick. Oh, it's 11. Okay, it's gone up to 11. Again, it was 11, down to 10. Now it's up to 11 again. So, anyway, I like the running game of Montana State, and I'm going to go with the more veteran team. Now, look, Illinois State's had a great run. I mean, my God, they beat North Dakota State in the Fargo Dome. That's pretty impressive. They knocked out the defending champs, the favorites, and they've had a great run. They beat Villanova in the semifinals to get here. It's been a wonderful ride to watch. But I got to go with the experienced team, the veteran team that's been in this position. They were just here last year. I like Montana State to win this football game. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a really close game, but I'm not going against the Bobcats here. Give me Montana State to win this football game and to win the FCS National Championship. All right, so we're going to take another break in just a second. A couple of things. Offensive coordinator news I've been keeping up with. If y'all know, I talked about it. Bobby Petrino looks to be headed to North Carolina with Bill Belichick. Utah offensive coordinator Jason Beck has left. He's going to Michigan to be with Kyle Whittingham. No shock. Clemson let their offensive coordinator Garrett Riley go, and they've hired a new one. Chad Morris is back. He was the OC there for several years and had some good offenses. So some offensive coordinator news there, worth noting. All right, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about this transfer portal. This thing's exploding. I'll be back here in just a minute.
To hate Andrew Anderson, stating truth that just can't wait. Got a podcast like a punch right to your face. College sports villain, taking it over the place. I bring the facts whether you like it or not. Dropping truth bombs, giving it all I got. They call me a villain. Well, I wear that badge with pride. Nothing but secrets they try to hide. I rock in my veins, rebellious to the core. I won't back down, won't take it anymore. The bad guy of the podcast world, that's me. Unleashing the truth, setting it all free.
All right, guys, welcome back to 4th and 25. I was just about to talk about the portal, and now we've got more. We've got more people on here. That's been more announcements. All right, so first things first, let's look at what I call the brighter side of this whole situation. Let's look at the players who are coming back next year at their respective schools. Let me find the right picture. That ain't it. I'm sorry. Is it this one? Yeah, here we go. All right, so these guys have announced they are coming back to their current school for next season. Tip of the hat to them. So we've got Whit Weeks of LSU at linebacker. He's been fighting injuries. My understanding, he's got a brother that's on the team too. Deuce Robertson, talented receiver at Florida State. He announced he's coming back. Avery Johnson, the dual threat quarterback at Kansas State. He will be back. C.J. Bailey is back at NC State. Good QB. Devin Williams, Washington's quarterback. He's coming back. Very good player when he's on. Notre Dame receiver Jordan Faison's coming back. A couple of Washington State players. Tony Freeman at receiver and Kirby Voorhees at running back. Now, there's also been a few other Cougars who have announced they're coming back to play for new head coach Kirby Moore. I don't have them on here, but there are several of those. James Madison's George Pettaway at running back, linebacker Gannon Weathersby. They're coming back. There's a couple other ones that have also announced that they're going to play for new head coach Billy Napier. Texas A&M quarterback Marcel Reed will be back. Be interesting to watch him. He's a good player. Rutgers receiver KJ Duff is coming back. He had a 1,000-yard season this past year. Isaac Brown of Louisville at running back. He was in the transfer portal, but he announced he was pulling out and is going to stay at Louisville. So that's huge for the Cardinals. Big time news. And then these other two were announced today, actually. Jalen Buckley at running back at Western Michigan. He had a really good year, one of the MAC's best running backs. He is back for 2026. That's huge for them. And Mississippi State linebacker Sakari Tillman, he will be back too in 2026. So that's the list of guys who have announced that they are coming back. That is awesome. All right, now to the transfer portal. Oh my God, this thing has exploded. This thing is full. I have tried so hard to keep up to date with it as best as I could. I'm just going to go through. I've got a list of players here for you, and this ain't all of them because there's thousands and thousands of players in this damn thing. But there are. Yeah, here's the first part. All right, so let's talk about this. Anthony Colandrea, UNLV quarterback, he's in the portal. He originally told everybody he was not getting in the portal. Well, he changed his mind. He just, it's my understanding, visited Florida State. So that's one school that is in the running for his services. DJ Lagway at Florida, the quarterback, he left Florida. I know he's visited Baylor. I know he visited Florida State. That is confirmed. I don't know where else he's been. I thought there was an LSU possibility, but I'm not sure about that. Isaac Brown, we just talked about it. He's no longer in the portal. I can take him out. Austin Simmons, Ole Miss's backup quarterback. Great young man. He's handled this situation so good. Trinidad took him over, and he still supported the team. He didn't bail. Reports are Pete Thamel of ESPN says Missouri looks to be his likely option. I wish him all the best wherever he goes. You got Taylor Tatum, Oklahoma running back, Cole Sullivan, Michigan linebacker, Luke Reynolds at Penn State tight end. We got Owen Chambliss, who was one of the best linebackers in the Mountain West at San Diego State. He's in the portal. Cam Coleman, Auburn's receiver, he's in the portal. I've heard Texas. I've heard Texas Tech. There were a couple other schools I can't remember right offhand. Michigan quarterback Davis Warren. Austin Romaine, Kansas State's linebacker. He was good. Utah DB Smith Snowden, North Carolina linebacker Kamori House. Understanding is he visited Arkansas, but that's what I've just been gathering. Dylan Gary, receiver at Georgia Southern, one of the Sun Belt's best pass catchers. Zeke Berry, Michigan DB. Corey Smith, Penn State running back. Offensive tackle Stanton Vermeil of Michigan State. James Peoples, Ohio State running back. Marion Horn, Texas Tech cornerback. Drew Cunningham from the G5, offensive lineman at Charlotte. Michigan lineman Andrew Sprague. Quincy Davis, New Mexico State linebacker. He was really good for the Aggies. We'll see where he goes. Bowling Green linebacker Gideon Lampron. I understand he's visited a few schools. I think Missouri maybe was one of them. Georgia Southern lineman Johnny Brown III. Raleigh Brown, running back at Arizona State. And then you see Arizona State quarterback Sam Levitt on there. He visited LSU, I believe, this morning. I know he's visited Texas Tech, but he won't be going there because they got Brendan Sorsby, as you all know by now. But yeah, he has visited LSU. Could he join Lane Kiffin? We'll see. All right, next up, let's keep rolling. I want to make sure I gave y'all the right list. Okay. Rodney Hill, running back at Arkansas. Have not heard anything yet on him. Harrison Taggery, linebacker at Cal. Penn State DB King Mack. Coey Perch, Minnesota DB. Trey White, another talented defensive player from San Diego State. He's in the portal. Tennessee offensive tackle Lance Hurd. We got Devin Jordan, a cornerback at Oklahoma. Owen Long at Colorado State. He was a really good linebacker. This next one kind of shocked me a little bit. Rasheem Biles, Pitt's linebacker. He was a All ACC selection for a couple of years. Really good player. I didn't think he'd leave Pitt, but could be an NIL money issue. Auburn quarterback Deuce Knight. There was talk, and I'm not trying to sound biased here, that he might be looking at Ole Miss, but with the news that Trinidad Chambliss has signed to potentially stay in Oxford if his waiver is approved, that could have an impact. But we'll see. Utah defensive end John Henry Daly is on here. You got Michigan quarterback Davis Warren, Bryson Washington, a good running back from Baylor, Terrion Francis, LSU receiver, NC State offensive tackle Jacarius Peak. Anto Saka, a really good defensive end at Northwestern. This one was a little surprising. Some thought he was NFL ready, but he has 1 year of eligibility remaining. LSU offensive tackle Weston Davis. Clemson safety Ricardo Jones. And then another quarterback, Byron Brown at South Florida. He visited Auburn. I think that's just my gut feeling. That's going to be where he goes because obviously his coach, Alex Golesh, who was at South Florida, is now at Auburn. So that's just my gut feeling where he's going to end up, but we'll see. All right, next up, take a look at these guys. The following 6 players are at Alabama and have entered the transfer portal. Defensive end Keon Keeley, a couple of receivers Rico Scott, Jalen Mbakwe, linebacker Noah Carter, running back Richard Young, offensive tackle Wilkin Formby. Now, I don't have them all on here, but it's my understanding Alabama's got like double-digit players in this thing now, so there's more of them. Also, you got Nate Kibble, offensive lineman at Texas. He's in the portal. You got Cade Ulev at Cal. He was a really good linebacker. Mississippi State defensive lineman Kai McClendon. A couple of FCS guys and their quarterbacks. Matt Vezza at New Hampshire. He's jumped in the portal. Jaden Rashad at Sacramento State. If you don't know his story, he was going to go, I think, to Florida, and then he went to Arizona State and Georgia. Never saw the field. And now he's played a little bit here, but he wants to be a starter. He's apparently in a lawsuit against Florida over NIL money. It's like $13 million, I believe. Andrew Powdrill, DB at UNLV, he's in the portal. Villanova DB, Zamir Darwin, he's in the portal. And then you've got Caden Durham, running back at LSU. He's jumped in the portal. So, let's see. Trying to get rid of some of these graphics so I don't. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to take those off. Alright. Another player who's jumped in the transfer portal, I actually gave him his own graphic. SMU. This was a little bit of a surprise, probably. SMU running back Chris Johnson Jr. He is in the portal. He's a former Miami transfer. This year he put up 717 all-purpose yards, 5 touchdowns. Really fast player. He's in the portal. All right, so now I think that's up to date on everybody who's in the portal. That has not announced their new school, but let me check real quick just to make sure. Okay. All right, so that's that. Let me delete that. All right, so the following players have announced that their new schools. These are all players who are transferring to new schools. Yep, there we go. All right, let me pull it up. So here you go. These are players who I have currently listed that have announced their new schools. We talked about this one. Brendan Sorsby, the quarterback who had a really good run at Cincinnati, he is headed to Texas Tech. $5 million deal. That is insane. Billy Edwards, quarterback at Wisconsin, he is headed to North Carolina. Gives Bill Belichick another QB to compete with Gio Lopez for their spot. Danny Scudero, wide receiver at San Jose State, he's going to Colorado to play for Coach Prime. He was the best receiver in the country. Nobody knew about it last year. I think he led the country in receiving yards. Um, and then the next part, look right here. This is the following players are transferring from Iowa State to Penn State. Tight end Ben Brommer, quarterback Rocco Beck, safety Marcus Neal Jr., another QB Alex Mansky, running back Carson Hansen, receivers Brett Eskedin, Chase Sowell, Kerrion Brookins, tight end Gabe Burkle, offensive lineman Trevor Burr. I think I'm saying that name right. Let's see. All right, let me find it. I just missed it. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so tight end Gabe Burkle, lineman Trevor Burr, Will Tompkins, Cole Cowell, however you say that, defensive lineman Elijah Cornell, three linebackers, Caleb Bacon, Cal Brazina, and Cooper Abell, a couple more DBs, Jamison Patton, and Hunter Sal. So basically, 18 Iowa State players are transferring to Penn State to play for Matt Campbell. Obviously, he was the coach at Iowa State, and he took the Penn State job. That tells you how much coaching means to these players. And this is going to be a very interesting experiment to follow in the 2026 season. How much does it benefit Penn State? How much does it benefit these players when you got that many guys changing from one program to another to follow their head coach? But anyway, so huge cycle for Penn State. And then you see down there on the bottom, Jaden Craig, quarterback at Harvard. He tore it up in the Ivy League. He was one of the better QBs in the FCS. He's going to TCU after Josh Hoover left TCU, who's going to Indiana. More on that in a minute. Jackson Warren, a really good, solid tight end at Colorado State. He is headed to North Carolina. All right, next up. Julian LaVenture, a really good MACD lineman at Akron. He's headed to Texas Tech. You've got another quarterback, Caden Hauser, who tore it up really good at East Carolina. Really good player. He's heading to Illinois, pretty much to take Luke Altmaier's position. Dylan Manuel, D lineman at App State. He's going to Colorado, play for Prime. Then here's another one. These three players are leaving North Texas to go to Oklahoma State. They're obviously following Eric Morris, the head coach, who took the Oklahoma State job. And these three alone is going to make that offense deadly. Your quarterback, Drew Mestenmaker, running back, Caleb Hawkins, who was a beast as a freshman. And then you've got Wyatt Young at wide receiver. So Oklahoma State, along with those three, really good job. Okay, so Bennett Warren, offensive tackle at Tennessee. He's headed to Minnesota. Christian Davis, a DT from La Tech, who was solid. He's going to SMU. Cutter Boley, a quarterback at Kentucky who put up solid numbers despite the Cats' losing season. He's going to Arizona State to give Kenny Dillingham a potential QB of the future. Tavion Wallace, linebacker at Arkansas. He's going to Kentucky. Kenny Minchie, quarterback at Notre Dame. He's headed to Nebraska with Dylan Raiola gone. He could be the man there next year. Shadre Hurst, guard at Tulane. He's headed to Houston. Willie Fritz is having a good portal cycle. Val Erickson, lineman at NC State. He's going to Liberty. And this next one, I actually got a graphic for you. Alonzo Barnett III, quarterback. He was at James Madison. He is headed to UCF. This young man put on a show this past year for the Dukes. He had 5,433 yards, 49 touchdowns, 22 touchdowns in his career at JMU. He was a Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year, took JMU to the college football playoff, regardless of how you feel about them being in it. Won numerous awards. Scott Frost has got to be thrilled to have this young man leading his team next year on offense potentially. Now we'll see what they put around him at playmakers, but if you're UCF, you're on cloud nine right now. So huge get for the Knights. All right, so continuing on. Let me make sure I put the right one up here because this gets a little bit trickier. Okay, McKee Hughes, running back at Oregon. He's going to Houston. He was at Tulane, had 1,000 yards. Went to Oregon, didn't really see the field. Now he's headed to Houston. Christian Ellis, DB at Virginia Tech, going to Virginia. I hate seeing players go from one rival school to another, but that's just me. Netanho Oliveri, however you say his name, offensive tackle, going from Penn State to Pitt. You've got Kyan Lound, a really good DB at Montana, and the FCS going to Duke. That's a good pickup. Jackson Harris, who had a really good year with I think 800 yards receiving for Hawaii. He's going to LSU to play for Lane Kiffin. All right, and then another little group here. The following defensive players have committed / transferred to Ole Miss. You've got defensive end Jonathan Maldonado from Nevada. Baylor linebacker Keaton Thomas. As an Ole Miss fan, I am excited to have Keaton Thomas on defense. And then a couple of DBs, Jay Crawford coming from Auburn and Sheriff Denson coming from Florida. Okay, next up, Indiana. This is a program that is killing it in the portal. Again, Kurt Cignetti, these 4 pickups he got yesterday, these are awesome. Quarterback Josh Hoover from TCU. You've got running back Turbo Richard coming from BC. Edge rusher Toby Osunsanami coming from Kansas State. And then you got wide receiver Nick Marsh. He's coming from Michigan State. And then down here at the bottom, you've got quarterback Colton Joseph. He is from Old Dominion. He had over 3,000 yards of offense this past season. 1,000-yard rusher, 2,000-plus yard passer. He's going to Wisconsin. Luke Fickle has got to be ecstatic. Levon Williams, a really good safety at East Texas A&M in the FCS. He's going to go to Illinois. And then you got defensive lineman Lamont Lester of FCS Monmouth. He's headed to Colorado. Running back Traquan Jones of Old Dominion. He has 1 year of eligibility left. He's going to Maryland. This one, I didn't even know this young man got in the portal, but Jalen Renor, quarterback at Arkansas State, he is going to Iowa State to be reunited with his OC from Arkansas State, who took the QB coach job there. Jaleel Tucker, cornerback from Oregon State, going to Washington State. A little spice there to that feud. Drew Dickey, quarterback from Vanderbilt, he's going to Arkansas State. Never really saw the field this past year, obviously, with Diego Pavia, and now he gets a chance to go lead a team himself. Dylan Lonergan, quarterback at Boston College, he's headed to Rutgers. Receiver Isaiah Williams, he's leaving Texas A&M to go to Kansas State. Excuse me. Devon Jordan, cornerback at Oklahoma, he's headed to Baylor. Rasai Guillory, running back at Utah, who did solid. He's going to LSU. A couple of West Virginia pickups from Oklahoma. Quarterback Michael Hawkins, and then his brother, DB Malik Hawkins. So the Hawkins brothers, leaving Oklahoma. They're headed to West Virginia. And then finally, Marion Miller, receiver at Colorado, who had a really good year. He's headed to Arizona State. And then a couple of more that I picked up here just a little bit ago. CBS Sports is reporting Penn State quarterback Ethan Grunkemeyer looks to be headed to Virginia Tech to be reunited with James Franklin. Very interesting. No shock, but might have a quarterback Virginia Tech for your fans to be excited about. And then we've also got Jared Richardson, who was a really good receiver at Penn in the Ivy League. He was an All-American. He had 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns. Has over 2,500 career yards. He is headed to Duke. He, I don't know how many years of eligibility he has, but he is on his way to Duke. And then we've got defensive lineman C.J. Hicks leaving Ohio State. He's going to South Florida. Holy cow. He was a 5-star recruit in 2022 and redshirted this year, so he'd get into their eligibility. He will be going to South Florida, where their Bulls' new head coach is Brian Hartline, who comes from Ohio State, so understandable. Big pickup for the Bulls. And then finally, one more that I also got. Clemson worked the portal. Can you believe it? Clemson actually worked the transfer portal. What? Cornerback Elliott Washington II, he is going to Clemson from Penn State. So that's an update right now. Remember, this thing is open from January 2nd to January 16th. Things can obviously change. There's going to be more announcements, probably already has been. There's no telling where this thing is going to end by the time it is over. Ty Simpson, the Alabama quarterback, is reportedly considering it. If he doesn't get a draft grade, he might get in the portal. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. From Pete Thamel, Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson has not made a decision yet on what he'll do in 2026. According to his agent, the NFL looms as the most likely, but nothing's been decided. All right, so, and as a matter of fact, real quick, I'm going to make sure there ain't nothing new I ain't missed. Yep, I've already missed a couple. So let's see. We've got Memphis quarterback A.J. Hill is going to Arkansas. That's not a big surprise. He's going to follow Ryan Silverfield. He has 4 years of eligibility remaining. We have running back Trey Wisner of Texas. He is going to Florida State. Okay. He's the leading rusher in back-to-back years. He has over 2,100 yards, 11 touchdowns in his career. Big pickup for Florida State. Colorado defensive lineman Jaheim Otis is visiting Ole Miss today. That looms as a potential reunion with Pete Golding, who was his DC at Alabama. Colorado State linebacker Lloyd Avant is headed to Oklahoma. That's a big pickup. All right, Florida State Twins defensive lineman Mandrell and Daryl Dezor are both heading into the portal as well. So that's your most up-to-date portal news that I've got. All right, last but not least, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to finish this thing out. We're going to predict the semifinals. Who do we like to go to the national championship game? We will see y'all in just a minute. Well, it was. Okay, for some reason, this thing's acting up again. Oh, man.
On time, you can get to work by 9 and start your slaving job to get your pay. If you ever get annoyed, look at me, I'm self-employed. I love to work at nothing all day, and we've been taking care of business every day. Taking care of business every way. We've been taking care of business. It's all mine. Taking care of business, and I've been working overtime. Work out.
All right, guys, welcome back to 4th and 25. Sorry for the little audio hiccup. A little slow here on my service, but oh well. All right, so let's get into it. It's our final segment. We're going to predict the semifinals and who do we think is going to go to the national championship game. I can't get to my graphic for some stupid reason. This thing is acting up again, but that's all right. That's okay. All right. Thursday night, 6:30 ESPN. It is the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. We've got Miami. We've got Ole Miss. That should be fun. Miami's front seven is so nasty. That defense is really good. And seeing them go head to head against Ole Miss is going to be a lot of fun, I think, potentially. Looking at the offenses, Ole Miss obviously the stronger offensive team. Ole Miss averaging 496 a game, Miami 405. Scoring wise, Ole Miss 37.6, Miami 31.6. Ole Miss throwing for about 315.9 a game, Miami 253.6. The Russian attack, Ole Miss 180 a game, Miami about 152. Third down conversions, Ole Miss at 49%, Miami 46.5. Fourth downs, Ole Miss 67% conversion rate, Miami 63. Now defense, Miami's going to hold the edge here on defense. Miami's the better defensive football team. Sorry about that. Anyway, defensively, Ole Miss roughly about 340 a game. Miami 285. Scoring defense. Miami 13.1 points per game allowed. Ole Miss 20.4. Pass defense, Miami. Now this is where Ole Miss is a little better, allowing 194 a game. Miami 201. Rush defense, Ole Miss is a little struggles here, 146 a game, and they're allowing 84. Miami's only allowing 84 rushing yards per game. Time of possession, Miami 33-10, Ole Miss 29-19. So Ole Miss's rushing attack against Miami's run defense. That's one matchup to take notice of. Um, Miami's going to play keep away. They're going to try to keep the ball from Ole Miss. We get that. But Miami's defense can shut them down too. Can Ole Miss's defense force Carson back into some mistakes? And can Ole Miss's offense attack? Is the question. This is going to be fun. Miami is favored, I think, by 3.5. Ugh, this is a tough one. But this has been a great ride for both these teams. I'm going Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss's offense is going to put up enough to put this game away, and Miami's not going to be able to keep up with them late in the game. I think Ole Miss will score enough to win this football game. I like Ole Miss. Hotty toddy. I think Ole Miss is going to the national championship. Give me Ole Miss in a close one over the Miami Hurricanes. All right, our other game, the other semifinal, Friday night, 6:30 ESPN. It is the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. We've got Oregon, we've got Indiana. Man, I can't get to that graphic. I'm so sorry, guys. Oh well. All right, Oregon and Indiana in the Peach Bowl, 6:30 ESPN. Indiana is a 4-point favorite. Both these teams can score, they can move the football, and they both can play some defense. This is a great matchup and a rematch of the regular season when Indiana beat Oregon out in Eugene. Oregon's averaging 457 a game, Indiana 468. Indiana scoring 41.6 points per game, Oregon 38. You look at the pass offenses, Oregon 251 a game, Miami roughly Indiana 247. Rushing offense, Indiana the little stronger, 220.7 a game, Oregon 206. Third downs, Oregon 45.4% conversion rate, Indiana 56.5. That is impressive. Fourth down, Indiana 50%, Oregon at 60. Total defense, Indiana allowing about 252.6 a game, Oregon allowing 267.4. Scoring defenses, both are really good. Oregon's allowing 15 points a game. Indiana only allowing 10.3 points per game. Pass defense, or Indiana 178.9 a game. Oregon 156.6 a game. Rush defense, Indiana allowing 73 yards a game rushing, 73.7. That's insane. Miami at 110.8 per game. Time of possession, both hold the ball north of 30 minutes. Okay, so as we all know, it is very hard to beat a team twice in one season. Ole Miss and Georgia has proved that. Bama and Georgia's proved that. Um, but like I said earlier when we recapped the Rose Bowl, I don't see a flaw with Indiana. I don't see nothing wrong with them. They will beat you down. They're perfect in just about everything they do. So with that said, I am torn on this game. On who I'm taking, but I'm not betting against Indiana. So I like Indiana. Give me Indiana in a close game to set up Ole Miss and Indiana for the national championship. That's my prediction. I like Ole Miss to win the Fiesta Bowl, and I like Indiana in the Peach Bowl. That is my prediction. All right, guys. So that is a wrap. What a show. It's good to be back, our first one of the year. I appreciate everybody who's tuned in, that commented. We're going to do one more thing before we get out of here, and that is just give you a Bible verse to remind you that the Lord loves you. Jesus is with you if you let him in. Romans 12:2. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Right at 1 hour. Awesome job. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Hope you all have a wonderful new year. Enjoy your week ahead. NFL playoffs are coming too shortly this weekend. Enjoy the semifinals. Next show, I'm gonna try Saturday, but I won't make no promises because I know I've had to change shows so many times. But we're gonna try for Saturday and try to do one before the NFL playoffs start on Saturday, where we'll recap the semifinals, some more portal intake, and if there's anything else, going on. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for helping me keep this show afloat. Those who tune in, they get the views. Um, we're gonna take this thing off and work on it and getting better this off season. Appreciate you guys. Thank y'all so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and God bless.